If you get a team that plays in the national championship game, you've got a pretty good division, I think. You got a pretty good conference as a whole. Pac-12 North, pretty competitive for the most part. Welcome inside our San Francisco studios. It's Football Weekly, the digital edition. Jake Plummer, Yogi Roth, Mike Yan with you. I bring up Oregon because they have sort of set the benchmark for the Pac-12 conference the last few seasons. Stanford's been in that equation a lot. Last year, a little bit of a dip for them, just an 8-win season. All the spring games, they're now in the rearview mirror. We're looking ahead to next season. Handicap the North for me.
Well, I mean, we always try to predict, right? And we think that the South is loaded. I'm sure by the end of the season, it'll be the North might be loaded. But to me right now, clearly Oregon is the class of the Pac-12. They're the class of the country. They're the team everybody's going to talk about. You got to watch their spring game over the weekend. And they're talented. They're loaded at the skill spots. Where they're weak, obviously, and uncertain is the QB position. We just don't know. And Stanford on the other side, Kevin Hogan, his last 3 games versus his first 8, Jake, he absolutely went off. So to me, those are the 2 teams at the top and a cut above everyone else.
Yeah, they've been the cream of the North, top of the North for the last few years. Stanford loses 8 defensive starters, so defense now is a question mark, where, as you mentioned, the offense catching on late in the season. A kid that did a lot was Christian McCaffrey, so I think he's a key to that evolution of that offense, and Kevin Hogan having a guy you can trust and a guy that can make plays. But Oregon still is the cream of the crop. They're really, like you said, in nationally the team everybody wants to be like. And I think the guy coming in is going to add a lot of excitement, Vernon Adams. So it's going to be fun to see how he fits in, if he can get that job. But I look to Cal to maybe surprise some teams and be very competitive. Jared Goff is a legitimate quarterback. Sonny Dykes says they're bigger, faster, stronger. They actually look like more like a Pac-12 team. So injury-wise, they have more depth. I think that they could be a team that could surprise and maybe be that blip on one of these guys, Oregon or Stanford's radar.
Yeah, because they can finally run the ball. We saw it last year in their games. And I think even the other 2 teams, there's reason to lean in and watch them, right? You have Washington State, Luke Falk, also Peyton Bender. Keep an eye on this young man, a redshirt freshman out of Florida, playing quarterback there. He can absolutely rip the ball all over the yard. And Oregon State, we saw it in their spring game. Probably the most exciting spring game in the entire Pac-12. Seth Collins, maybe he will be the starter as a true freshman. Went from 7th on the depth chart to 1. So it's going to be fun week in and week out. Definitely excitement in the North.
Kind of crazy. You mentioned sort of the quarterbacks and the battles. Last year was the conference of quarterbacks, and in some ways, maybe the best quarterback under the radar, maybe the best quarterback nationally is the guy that you mentioned in Jared Goff from Cal. Expectations for Sonny Dykes' crew continuing to get pushed. But for everything that's happening around the Pac-12 conference, all you have to do, follow us on Twitter at Pac-12 Networks. Jake, I said before, I'll say it again. It's plural, man.
Plural.
Yes.
We've checked that.
Gotcha.